What is up, everybody? Good afternoon. We are here on Saturday, a little less than 24 hours before kickoff, and we've gotten some news. We've gotten some news for this Seahawks Saints game, and I'll tell you, it's not very good news. I'm not going to say it's anything truly disastrous. I'm not going to say it's anything truly crippling, but you certainly would have preferred to not hear this rather than hear this. So, about a half an hour ago, it was announced from several sources, including the official Seahawks PR account on X, that Jaxon Smith-Njigba has been added to the injury report as questionable. So out of nowhere, he is going to now have his game status in doubt, probably up until kickoff. Let me be very clear about this. He's sick. He has an illness. We don't know exactly what illness it is, but he is sick. So don't expect him to miss the game. I'm going to go ahead and say that right now. I seriously doubt that any NFL player, much less someone like JSN, is going to miss a game because of an illness. The question is, what is he going to be able to do if he's playing with some sort of illness? If he has the flu, if he has a cold, if he has whatever it may be. Is he going to be able to play a full allotment of snaps? Is he going to be able to be effective? That's the question. That's the part where this becomes a little bit uncomfortable now, because we already talked about it yesterday. This Seahawks team has some real issues in their secondary. So there is a chance, I don't know if it's a high chance, I don't know if it's a good chance, but there is a chance this game turns into some kind of a shootout. If the game turns into some kind of a shootout, you need JSN, and you need him to be effective. You need him to be able to do what he does. Because without him, there is a massive, massive stepping down from what you have with him to what you have without him. Cooper Kupp is not equipped to be a number one receiver in this league at this point. Torrey Horton is not yet at the point where he can be a number two. Everything just gets messed up. So definitely worth monitoring. Again, I don't think there's any way JSN misses this game. I'm not sitting here and saying I think he's going to not play. I think the odds of that are very low. But what if he can't get open? What if he doesn't feel like himself? What if he can't catch? What if he drops passes that he normally wouldn't? These are all things that, as a Seahawks fan, I now have to worry about tonight. So we'll see what happens when the game actually starts. But let it be known that for the moment, JSN is questionable. And he is presumably just now starting to get sick, so I doubt he'll be completely over it by game day. All right, so that is the main news of the day. It's not the only thing we have. I'll take a look at a couple of practice squad notes. Please give this video a like, subscribe, click the bell, become a channel member for $2 a month. Those are the best ways to support. So real quick, practice squad stuff from Corbin Smith here. Some people are going to like this. I know that there are some big Jarek Reed fans out there. Jarek Reed has been signed to the 53-man roster ahead of this game. So if you're wondering where Jarek Reed is, the answer right now is that he is on the Seattle Seahawks 53-man roster. So in the absence of presumably Julian Love, presumably Nick Emmanwori, and also put Devin Witherspoon in there, I guess, even though he's a corner, Jarek Reed has been promoted. So, by the way, has D'Anthony Bell. He has been promoted from the practice squad to the 53-man. Game day elevation. Same with Jacardia Wright, which makes sense because Charbonnet's probably not going to play. Speaking of things that make sense, let me tell you a little bit about Sleeper, back in 60 seconds. Before I go any further, I want to tell you a little bit about my friends over at Sleeper. If you're not using the Sleeper app for daily fantasy football this year, you are missing out on some great opportunities. Take a look on the left side of your screen right now. Look at all these great things you can do over there at any time you want to. Make all kinds of over-under picks. Let's take a look at my entry for this week. I got Bijan and Saquon scoring anytime touchdowns. I think both those guys are going to get in the end zone and help lead their team to big victories. I got Pat Mahomes going over 29.5 rushing yards. He's going to need to run the ball a lot because of the way that Chiefs offense is right now. And I got JSN going over 68.5 receiving yards. Got to keep going the over on JSN until he gives us a reason not to. You get on over to Sleeper, use my promo code SBN. You can get a $100 match on your first deposit, Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Opening up operations in Washington State in October. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today. All right, welcome back. So I don't know if I would expect Jacardia Wright to necessarily play, because one thing that's been noteworthy in the first two games is even though he's been the third running back, George Halani has not had to play on the offense yet for the Seahawks. So they seem pretty content just doing a two-man rotation at running back, and then you have Oots at fullback. So I don't know if Jacardia Wright is going to play, but he is going to be active in the event something happens with one of the other guys. So might get to see his first NFL action. Seeing DeAnthony Bell is great, I think, because I am a little bit more optimistic on him than Ty Okada. And honestly, at this point, same with Jarek Reed. I don't know. I like having some break glass in case of emergency options behind Okada, because I'm not a big fan of his, and I want backups. So we'll see who ends up actually playing in the event of a necessity opening up there. But I know there are some big Jarek Reed fans out there, so that'll get some people excited. Also, we officially signed Shane Lemieux to the practice squad. I talked about that a few days ago. Not much to say there. He's not on the active roster. He's not on the 53-man. So he's not. It doesn't look like he's going to get called up either, because we already called up a couple guys. So nevertheless, he is on the practice squad for the time being. And real quick here, we also had a little bit of movement on the Saints side, not a lot, but they did bump up Kevin Austin to the active roster from the practice squad. He's a wide receiver. So remember that Velez and they also had another receiver. Velez was the guy they traded for from the Broncos, and they had another depth receiver that was probably going to miss this game. So Kevin Austin makes sense as a promotion there. They also elevated a tight end, Trayton Welch, and a defensive end, Fadil Diggs. Now, the fact that there's no tackle here, they don't have a right tackle here, indicates that maybe they feel like Fuaga is going to be able to play. And the fact that there's no guard here indicates that maybe they trust Trevor Penning to be able to get through the game. That's kind of what I was looking for here. If they elevated offensive linemen, that would indicate they don't have a lot of trust in their offensive linemen to go, but we'll see. There's no guarantee of that. Maybe they just trust the depth they have as is. All right. So that's what's going on there. Obviously, this is all very much small potatoes compared to what's going on here. Like, all that stuff I just talked about matters. This is the thing that really matters. If JSN is out, that puts the Seahawks in a very uncomfortable position. And if he's able to play, but he can't play like JSN can play, then it gets dicey. If you fall behind, you're going to have a harder time catching up. So I can't put too much of a happy face on this. About the best I can say is that I have full confidence he's going to play. Less confident in his ability to play at a high level. But so it goes. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But let me know what you guys think. I'll be streaming in less than 2 hours. Apple Cup. You guys know the drill. Stream. I haven't posted the stream yet. I'll post it later. And go Hawks.